Do you reject new ideas? Do you feel like you're not going anywhere? Are you really good at talking yourself out of trying new things? You could be the Eight of Swords. Hi, party people. It's me, Taylor Ellis, the artist behind the Ellis Deck Tarot and the Tarot of the Starbound Phantasia, and today we're talking about the Eight of Swords. The element for the sword cards is air. And with the Eight of Swords, think about, the eight is, we're not really going anywhere. We're kind of stuck. So think about like stagnant air. It's kind of gross. It's oppressive. It's stuffy. I can't sleep in a room that has stagnant air in it. This is the situation where it's like we really need to open a window. For the astrology of this card, we want to look at Jupiter and Gemini, which, we say that Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini. We think of Jupiter as like this monarch or like this patriarch. They have like a faith or a dogma almost, kind of one way of doing things. They're not really used to being questioned about them. And then you have Gemini, which is kind of the great questioner. There's Gemini's already like, well, there's two sides to a situation, and Jupiter is like, well, I've experienced this, and it's really the only way to do and be, and yes, this is the way. And Gemini is like, well, what is the way even? Where is the way going? And so you would think of like Jupiter is something that likes to kind of establish an equilibrium by removing disturbances, and Gemini kind of thrives on disturbances. So Jupiter and Gemini is almost like a king that can't king. So with the Eight of Swords, think about that. Like you're in a situation where you have a bunch of preconceived ideas and they're not going to work in the situation that you're in. And that can kind of lead to almost like a maladaption that we're like, we almost set up a tidy little kingdom for ourselves, like a little pocket bubble reality that doesn't really get us anywhere because it doesn't actually function in the world. But we're inside of it, and as long as we choose to stay there, we can still live by our rules, but it's not really going to help us navigate the actual world outside of our bubble. All right, and we're gonna start again with the Ellis deck. Having a look at the background, we can see that pink energy. My little reference card fell is what that sound was. But we have the pink energy in the background is banded, and it's kind of pushing down. And so when we go back to like the idea of that air element, we're being oppressed by the atmosphere or the situation. We're feeling kind of our own mind is kind of captured us at this point. We see that we're caught up in this web. It's like even the crows in the background are tied up in this web. So even our intuition doesn't help us during this time. We're either we can't hear it or we're not listening to it. But that's what the crows are there to do, or is kind of point out things to us, and they can't get free either. The Eight Swords have black widows for handles. It's like even our ideas have become poisonous. These might be kind of a set of rules that we've come up to live by, and either like our living situations changed or the rules of the game we've been playing have changed, but we're still trying to go by old concepts, and all they're really doing at this point is serving as being like part of a prison. They're stuck into this ground that is black and rigid. It's like the inflexible mentality when we are just overly logical about a situation, and we're trying to maybe apply our logic to an emotional situation is how I would think of that. Look closely at the situation, because in this card, we're more trapped by the idea of being trapped than actually being trapped ourselves. We have closed eyes. They're not blindfolded. The hands are in this bound position, but they're only really bound by this spider web, and it doesn't really look like it's particularly that strong. It's like with a minimum of effort, we're just accepting that we're the ones that's trapped ourselves. We could, break out of it, and just a little bit of strength is all we need for that. But it's like a situation where we have to think differently. If this figure could just shimmy up against those swords that are closest to them, they could even cut themselves free. All right, and in the Starbound Phantasia, we don't as much have a character that's bound as we ourselves are bound as the viewer. We have this view of space, these stars in the distance. They represent this organic, chaotic reality. And then the swords themselves are forming this orderly grid. It's like it's obstructing our view, and it's restricting our progress. The grid is how, we like to organize things. It's like we get out a piece of graph paper, we sort of chart things out, and this card is kind of telling us that the situation is a little bit beyond our ability to grid, that we're gonna have to stop trying to think of things in an empirical way. With the swords in this suit, when the blades are red, they're meant to represent more like an aggression or a fear or a malevolent use of the intellect. And so I don't know, maybe if I put that in a couple of words, I would say like wrong thinking. The handles of the swords are represented by antlions, and an antlion is a creature that builds a trap, but they have to live in that trap. And so in a way, they themselves are restricted, and therefore itself is trapped. So last time we talked about the hangman, who is stuck because of external circumstances. This time with the Eight of Swords, the calls are coming from inside the house. We are either unwilling to think of another way to go about something, or worse, an inability to get out of the box that we've got ourselves into. If you made it this far into the video, thanks for watching. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. If there's something you'd like to see me do a reading on, or a card that I haven't talked about yet that you'd like to see a video on, drop a comment about that as well. And until next time, happy reading.